Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about how we have multiple articles out there sort of eulogizing or doing an autopsy on these dead talk show hosts, or at least their shows are dead. Howard Stern's show's basically canceled at this point. I think they said they're not going to renew him because he wants too damn much money and he's not bringing a return on that investment. And Jimmy Kimmel, in what looks like an attempt to save his own ass, is throwing the Democrats under the bus.
Yeah, which is really weird given how a lot of these like nighttime hosts have been leaning and have used, the right side as a punching bag for a long time. And now they're like, now that it's biting them in the ass, now that you have Colbert getting, going to get shut down, and that, this Howard Stern thing, now they're trying to like backpedal. Jimmy Fallon, oh, hey, Gutfeld, come on the show. Jimmy Kimmel, like, oh, guys, I never was completely one of them, and they're going too far.
Right,
and it's
right.
like, okay.
They want to save their own asses, right? And Howard Stern used to be like massively counterculture, and he became like one of the biggest shills like in the last couple of years. And I swear to God, he's got the sensibilities of an 80-year-old woman. Like he's just like
looks like one too.
He's become a complete pussy. Jimmy Kimmel, again, the Man Show, trying to get away from his own past, like we were talking about before we started recording. You're like, yeah, he used to be on the Man Show, and that used to be problematic. And Adam Carolla was on that, and Adam Carolla now is considered more right wing.
Yeah, and look, you're allowed to have differences of opinions, but it's like it's so funny to me that he's out there saying what we've been saying this entire time. The extremism is driving away everyone else. They're driving them to vote against you.
Yeah,
we've been telling you this. Anybody with half a brain could tell you this. And now they're like, oh my God, guys, guess what? And like you said before this video, I never would have thought that Sarah Silverman would be the based one.
Sarah Silverman, yeah. So she's actually, last couple of years now, she said, I remember it was like 3 years ago, she said she was politically homeless. She couldn't get on board with cancel culture probably because it came for her.
Well, she said the purity tests were you could never pass them. And even if you do change, because she had a friend who I guess was like a neo-Nazi or something. I think that's what it was. I can't remember.
Yeah. She said she had a friend that actually was like a card-carrying.
And he changed, and he was trying to be better, and then they were shunning him and everything, even though he was trying to change. And she said, you cannot pass these purity tests. Like, there's always somebody who is like, I got a better checkbox than you do, so you can never pass, and it's never enough. And we talked about it then. She said she was politically homeless. We said about, yes, that's kind of, you're more of a libertarian, but that's how I feel most of the time, more independent, because I don't think, I've always been in the middle. I always leaned left, but now anything right of far left is considered alt-right. So where I'd still say I'm moderate leaning left, I think at this point I'm more leaning right according to the metrics.
Well, yeah, because they moved the goalposts, right?
But I never changed. I'm exactly the same as I always was.
I don't think I ever have either.
It's just I'm the same. If I did go more right, it's because I got so sick and tired of the people we're going to talk about in this video.
Yeah. I think what happens is it actually pushes people in the other direction. They're like, you know what? If you're going to call me a bigot, Nazi, homophobe, racist piece of shit, then why would I?
Well, you're going to be called it anyway.
Might as well do it, right?
Do what I want, right?
Just do what I want. Because I'm not saying to be those things, but I'm just saying.
You don't have to be. You just do what you want, and you'll be called it anyway. So
yeah, right. All right, so let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
So yeah, we're going to talk about Howard Stern and Jimmy Kimmel. And in the case of Jimmy Kimmel, he was on the Sarah Silverman podcast, which might be awkward because they used to date and now they don't. But
if it was a long time ago,
yeah.
As long as their significant others are fine with it.
Yeah, it'd be weird. It'd be a little weird. Depends. Not everything's like the Santa Claus movie. I thought they were a little too chummy with Tim Allen. They're just. The Santa Claus, right? So they're divorced.
Oh, yeah.
Santa Claus, Scott, whatever his name is, the toy guy.
Okay,
and then,
his ex-wife. Okay,
yeah, and then the new husband is like really chummy with him.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
that does happen a lot of times. There's a lot of times that for the sake of the kids, everybody tries to get along. And I always thought that was kind of cool because I see it in real life. And I was like, wow, that's really cool that you guys could be that way.
You wouldn't be that way.
Because I wouldn't be that way.
You would never. I know you wouldn't be that way.
Especially if
I don't think I'd be that way
involved.
either.
If there was cheating involved, especially, I'd be like, hell no.
Yeah, I don't
Anyway.
think I don't think I'd be that way either. I'd be like making digs, you know. I know myself. I'd be like, yeah, dumbass, you know. I'm bigger. Anyway, this comes from the Hollywood Reporter. This is what prompted the video. They're not even making excuses for these talk show hosts anymore.
Which just tells you everything is they're all trying desperately to pivot back to the middle. They have spent how many years before Trump was out of office, and it was like what 8 years now or so, causing as much division, political pickling, everything like Gina Carano said, that you're trying to turn people against each other so they hate each other and everything else. They've been spending years perpetuating this. But now that they're starting to finally realize, which was obvious the entire time, that you're losing half your audience and you're cutting your budget, your income, I guess, in half.
Yeah.
That now they're like, oh shit, guys, we got to go back to the middle because, that's the only way we're going to make it.
Yeah.
We need all the audience, not just, the small percentage we're chasing.
Hollywood Reporter, what really could be killing Howard Stern's show? They're saying that not enough people hate watch Howard Stern now. They just don't care about him. He's irrelevant.
I honestly think the guy's been irrelevant for quite a while now. I was surprised he still had a show. Like, I can't remember the last time he was relevant. I think it was he a judge on like America's Got Talent or something?
Yeah,
that's
the
last time I ever remember hearing anything about him.
So at that point, if you're supposed to be a shock jock and you're going on a program that grandma watches, I mean, come on. Come on.
I didn't know he still had a show, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, he does. And he was getting like $25 million a year or some crazy amount of money.
It sounds, from what I've been looking into, it's a lot of people are getting a whole bunch of money for having a shit audience just because they happen to be on a crappy reality show before. That's a whole other story.
That is a whole thing. These talk show hosts, some of these podcasters are getting like money that they're not even worth a tenth of that. They're not even worth a 20th of that. But because they have the brand recognition, these radio stations, whatever, studios throw money at them. They're like, oh, well, people have heard of this person, so we're going to give them, $20 million or something. It's like nobody, just because they heard of them doesn't mean they actually listen to them. So the program director, Pig Vomit, said the average Howard Stern fan listens an hour and 20 minutes. The average Stern hater listens for 2.5 hours.
Well, I believe that. I do believe people who that's why the view's still, I think, on the air.
Mr. Vomit says if they hate him, why did they listen? Well, that's a good question, because that happens to us too. Because what they're looking for, I'm telling you, what they're looking for is they're rooting around through the shit looking for something they can throw back in his face later.
A gotcha moment, yeah.
But and that's why people watch these live streams too. Like, I think for the longest time, I would say half the audience, maybe not half the audience, but a good portion of the audience that would watch a lot of these YouTubers hated those YouTubers, and they were just hoping they would say something stupid that they could clip and be like, oh, I'm gonna run with that, and I'm gonna get you canceled because you said this or that or whatever. And now they just don't care. And in the case of Howard Stern, he's so fucking bland now that like nobody's gonna listen to him. Even
I did not even realize he was still in the air, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Until this all came out. He always was in a show. I'm like, he still had one? I'm not a target demographic to begin with, so,
Yeah, so that was from Private Parts. That was from
Oh,
Private
gosh.
Parts.
I remember going to see that at the theater.
You went to go see Private Parts in the theater?
I did.
Serious? I didn't know that.
My friend wanted to go, so we went to see it, yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Why is that surprising to you?
I don't know. I know you watched Scary Movie in the theater.
Oh, God.
You told me about that.
That was the most awkward.
Well, you couldn't have foreseen that. You couldn't have seen. Well, you did. I was gonna say you couldn't see that coming, but you couldn't miss it.
You couldn't miss
that one scene.
But what was really awkward is the one guy that I worked at the mall, and this one guy kept coming over, and he was like definitely interested in me. I didn't know that because I was oblivious, and I thought he just want to be friends and hang out. So he's like, "You want to go to this movie?" I'm like, "Okay, I'll go to the movie." And then it was really awkward the entire time because this guy turned out was interested in me and I was not interested in him other than being friends. And it wasn't like friend zoning him or anything. I didn't really know him. And it was really creepy and weird. I'm just saying that. But that's okay because after he realized he wasn't going to get anywhere with me, he ended up just dating one of the other girls I worked with. So it was okay. I escaped.
Scary Movie is not a first date movie.
It wasn't even supposed to be a date. It was
Did he know
awkward.
that? Did he know that?
I don't know. I made it pretty clear, but who knows? I was just like, I paid my own ticket. I paid my own ticket and everything. Like, I didn't make him pay for it or anything.
Maybe if you see this girl get plastered to the ceiling, you'll be more into me. I mean, it's like, oh my God.
I was just like, oh my God, I want to be out of here right now.
Yeah, I that was a very awkward. I actually saw it at the drive-in. Remember drive-ins? I saw it at the drive-in. Some friends, they were actually married friends, and I went. And a couple of us went and we got like the back of the pickup truck and we watched, you know, the whatever. And I'm like, oh my God, this is not, because I was thinking like Airplane. I was thinking like Naked Gun. I wasn't thinking.
That's what I was thinking too. So
like all these dick. There were a lot of dick jokes in the 90s. Like full on. Like we showed the whole thing. Something about Mary. There was a whole lot of something going on. Anyway.
Is that hair gel? Anyway.
Oh God. All right. So they said, yeah. They said, oh, he's a TV pioneer and blah, 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 blah. They said all that's coming to an end with word that Stern's show on Sirius could get scrapped as tabloid rumors are fed by a new promo running on Sirius suggesting the host will reveal all after Labor Day. The very fact that he's here in itself is a sign of Stern's pioneerism. But they basically said, yeah, for the first time ever, Sirius XM might finally mean canceling him, evaluating what a show that likely retains a few million subscribers is worth, and whether it's the reported 100 million. Oh my God, it's more than I thought it was. $100 million annually. This could all end up a 10% teapot with a re-up and a hometown discount, or it could mean.
That's saying that they still might not take it off the air if he agrees to something less, but.
Or he's going to reduce, or he's going to, he broadcast from his house in Southampton. Oh my God. It'll be slashed or disappear completely, or he migrates to Spotify or Netflix.
Or he might retire. It's like,
he's like 70 something, 73.
I know he's a lot older than me. That's all I know.
Yeah. They said part of the narrative is Stern is past his prime. He is. He totally is.
He's been.
What could happen with Stern is he's now made irrelevant by the very people whose careers he enabled. Alex Cooper, call her daddy. She gets a ridiculous amount of views. That's why she blew up. And that's the thing. It's almost like same with Rogan too. I think Rogan kind of set people up to not replace him, but kind of you go on that show and you become a regular on that show, people are going to follow you, right? Mm-hmm. But it's just like nobody cares. They don't care. The reason this goes back to Colbert. And the reason they canceled him is they couldn't justify the expense. I think the same reason that like Rachel Maddow is going to eventually get gone is they can't justify those salaries anymore because they can't make a correlation. Like they're spending all the money up front to get people to come in and subscribe to SiriusXM. I remember when SiriusXM first launched, Howard Stern was the selling point. It was like he was like at the height of his career, and they're like, "Oh God, guys, got to come in for Howard Stern," just like they did with Rogan and Spotify. And he basically helped build that platform. And now, like, nobody gives a shit. And even Sirius XM, I'm like, is it really, like, I know it comes with cars, but does, like, anybody listen to it?
I only had the music channels on when I had it. And I just don't use it, so I let it lapse because I have my iPhone put in. If I was going to watch it, I'd listen to my iPhone.
That's what most people do now. Like SiriusXM was like a big deal when most people didn't have iPods or iPhones you plug in, but now it's like everybody's got their phone. You just plug it in, listen to Spotify or iTunes or whatever. So, he's basically irrelevant. They're trying to be nice about it, but it's like, no, he's irrelevant. And if this was 20 years ago, it'd be like that troublemaker, Howard Stern. But now they're like, oh, he's one of the nice ones. He told everybody they had to get vaccinated or they had to get the hell out of the country. He's one of the good guys, everyone.
When you start being one of the good guys, then you start. That's when you raise eyebrows and start getting concerned.
Yeah, right. That might have been part. I mean, I think his brain fell out. I think money, that kind of money, that ridiculous, I can never go broke kind of money.
Understandable. Makes
people stupid and they lose touch with their audience.
Understandable. Yeah. I mean, honestly. But,
as he broadcast from the Southamptons, what I'm saying. So speaking of out of touch celebrities, Jimmy Kimmel, who's become the poster child for out of touch Hollywood, I think lately. Now he's like, maybe we're the bad guys.
Maybe some people on our side are going so batshit that it's driving everyone else away. And by that I say, no, you don't say. People have been telling you guys this. And the fact that people were surprised on these left-leaning news outlets and people that were far left were surprised that they lost. Just blows my mind, because if you listen to anybody, normies in the street, just basic people, they were tired of just constantly being called names and being told that they were bigots.
Yeah.
For the most milquetoast of opinions. That it was insane.
And it's weird. This is on Fox News. Of course, they're going to take the opportunity to, punch Jimmy Kimmel in the face, right? But I just saw today that Bill Burr got a first look deal with Fox. Isn't that weird? It wasn't Disney. It wasn't Netflix. It's with Fox, because Fox actually has money now.
But wasn't he kind of like being a dick not that long ago about people on the...
Yeah. But, money talks.
Yeah, I was just saying.
Money talks. But he's not even, I don't consider Bill Burr conservative at all. Like, I don't think he likes Trump.
No, but he was having a hissy about something the other day, but I forget what it was.
It all blends together. They're having a hissy.
It's like a blender of pissiness, and I don't remember what's all there.
Okay, so I want to know why it is that these Hollywood celebrities and these, celebrity journalists or whatever can act like douche nozzles. But if a YouTuber says anything out of turn, oh my God, that's like the worst. Who the fuck do you think you are? Howard Stern? Jimmy Kimmel? It's like, who do you think you are?
Meanwhile, there's YouTubers. They get far more views than they do, but okay.
Yeah. Unless you're making 25 million a year for your, 100,000 views a month. I'm not even kidding. I was looking into some of these podcasts. I'm like, these people are like celebrity podcasters, and very few of them are getting any return on the investment. It's ridiculous.
No, but instead of giving deals to people that they get a return on investment on, they just double down on Hollywood people, because they have in their head that because they were on a show or because they know somebody or they're known for something, even if it's something stupid that most people never even heard of, that it's that Hollywood connection means that they're going to get views.
I know.
But people don't want the Hollywood stuff. That's why they turned against it. The logic, the lack of logic, and the way they thinking this through, it hurts my brain, because I can't understand it. I will never understand it, because it's simple economics. It's just simple. It's so simple.
And it's like massive amounts of money. Like, Colbert, like, how many years was he on the air that he was costing them $40-50 million a year? Can you imagine just having like $40 or $50 million and just lighting it on fire? Like,
well, Disney does it all the time. I don't understand it.
It's just insane to me. The amounts of money that these studios throw at these people, it's insane. So this is coming from Fox News. Jimmy Kimmel admits repulsive liberal scolds are driving people away from the Democratic Party. He is just backpedaling now because he knows the winds are changing.
So wait, Jimmy Kimmel states the obvious.
Kimmel,
and it's newsworthy, So,
and he was on Sarah Silverman's podcast, because of course she has a podcast. They all have podcasts now. So Jimmy Kimmel admitted repulsive liberal voices are scaring people away from the Democratic Party during an appearance on Sarah Silverman on Thursday. The comedians discussed cancel culture persisting on the left since Trump returned to office. Yeah,
it's been before Trump returned to office, though. The cancel culture has been, by the left especially, has been ongoing.
Well, the Gina Carano, just case in point, look at the situation with her. And, people are furious that Disney settled. They're like, well, I'm going to boycott Star Wars. I'm like, bitch, you probably never watched Star Wars. You probably never did.
But they have the wrong takeaway here. They criticize the people who continue to shun Trump voters who are now expressing regret for supporting the president. So they're not criticizing people that drove people to vote for the president in the first place. They're criticizing the people who are making fun of the Trump voters now, when you should be bringing them back over to our side so they vote the correct way next time. No. They're not even getting the lesson in the whole thing here, which is they wouldn't have voted for Trump. A lot of people would have, but the people that you're talking about, that you're referring to directly, would not have voted for Trump had you given them a decent candidate, and had you guys not been so insufferable for years leading up to the election. They're not talking about that. And people, including Jimmy Kimmel, all right, not mentioning that part. It's just that, no, guys, you need to be nice to the Trump voters who are upset so that we can bring them over here. So they're campaigning for the next election is what they're doing.
Yeah, that's what this is about. And they want Joe Rogan, because Joe Rogan used to be one of them. And that's what happened. What happened was you pushed a lot of these people to the other side. People pulled the lever for Trump that never would have considered pulling the lever for Trump because they're like, the Harris thing I know pissed a lot of people off.
I think that a lot of people did. And I think that the whole illegal immigration and other stuff were really, really were important things to people. And they felt like they weren't doing anything about it. And it was constant. I didn't like a movie or a show. That's because you're a bigot and that kind of stuff. The purity tests were insane. And they said that, I guess Joe Rogan has been attacked because he criticizes Trump now when he was, supporting him before. Well, that doesn't mean you can still, two things can be true at once. You can admit when someone does something right and you can admit when someone does something wrong. And it doesn't mean that you are, now you're for them, now you're against them. You can just point out that this isn't what I would do and this is right and this is wrong. And that's fair. For some reason, people are so pickled that you have to think everything's good or everything's bad, or you're not in the right place. And she said that they think that it's iconic that the party of inclusivity is elitist, and it's like has nothing to do with Trump getting reelected. It's been leading up to it, which is why people voted the way they did. That hasn't just started now. It's been.
The case of Rogan, I remember he was actually pro-Biden. And if I remember correctly, he actually said if he had to, choose in 2020, he was going to vote for Biden. And then Biden said, well, I don't want your support because, you're a Nazi bigot, homophobe, whatever, because my freaking intern, whoever the hell was actually running the government, said so. And so then he had Trump on. And it was like the biggest damn podcast episode in the history of podcasts. And YouTube I remember they were trying to bury it. It was so weird. And then they're like, well, then he offered Harris. He said, hey, if you want to come on my show, she wouldn't do it. She went on some other hole in the wall podcast that hardly anybody watched. And because it was friendly.
They could control.
They control it. Yeah. Yeah. And that's, so it's like, look, you guys, I don't even know where to start. I mean, I walked away from the Democrats in 2016 because I was so disgusted with what happened with Bernie Sanders, where he was clearly the front runner. And then it happened again with Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah.
Happened again with Robert F. Kennedy. Like, you get these people who don't toe the line and you push them. You push them over to the Republican side.
They were all Democrats. They were
all Democrats.
At least two of them are working on the other side now.
Yeah. Congratulations, congratulations. You pushed them over. And you're going to get people, they were always Nazis in disguise. It's like,
those are what the people they're referring to in these videos and stuff.
Yeah.
But they're like really shocked that, the people are, it's never enough. Even if you say, oh, I'm good. I agree with your point. Let's talk about it. I won't speak to you because you're a bigot. You get what you deserve. And they're like, wow, that's, really too far. And it's like, where have you been? So the water is wet. Days end in Y. Sky is usually blue. I don't know what else to tell you.
This is crazy. This is what he said. We're not gonna run the clip because I don't want to get dinged for it. But he said, yeah, it's not just the party. It's not the majority. It's the loud voices that scare people from saying what they believe and make you think twice about a joke or whatever. People lived in fear for the last 7 or 8 years. They were terrified to say what they actually thought because they thought freaking Twitter and Blue Sky would cost them their career.
Well, I'll tell you what. We're moderate. We always lean left, and we were constantly getting people just because they assumed. If you pointed out the obvious, well, you're a MAGA, and it's like, I just point out the obvious, man. That's all I did, I
just want to talk about cartoons and comic books and TV shows and tech. Like, everything has become so damn political. But I think people are just actively rejecting all of it at this point. He said, a lot of their points are valid, but a lot of them are also just repulsive in that they repel people. They go like, oh, you're no fun. I don't want to be around you. And I think if you had to boil it down to one thing, that's it. And they were talking.
Whoa. The people that are not like constantly, dogpiling, holding people at purity tests, all that stuff. They're not the fun ones. Basically, by that description, you're not fun, meaning that the people that are causing all the problems that are the very toxic extremes are fun?
He said, I think these liberals who have done such a good job of viciously attacking comedians are a big part of the reason why Trump is the president right now. Yes, Jimmy. I know you're just saying it to save your own ass because you're like dead last in the late night ratings. I know you're saying but you needed to come to this realization before he got elected.
Here's an idea for the comedians and for these people like him. Here, part of the problem is you guys, late night, have done nothing but push politics.
Yeah.
You haven't been funny in a hot minute, because all you do is make everything political and divisive. And now that it's a problem for you, now that there are repercussions, with the freedom of speech, not freedom from consequences.
Yeah.
Now there's repercussions for you and your viewership. Now people care about the viewership numbers being balls.
Yes.
Now it's like, oh my God, guys, not us. We comedians can't be funny anymore. Well, you weren't being funny before this week either.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's probably going to get canceled. He doesn't bring enough. He doesn't bring enough. I mean, I'm sorry. Fallon was smart. They were smart. I don't know if it was Fallon or his people, but they were smart to bring Gutfeld on because that was the best ratings he had in like 3 years.
Yeah. Do you see him going on his show and saying what he said on the podcast?
No. That isn't that interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, because he knows nobody's going to watch the fucking podcast because nobody listens to these celebrity podcasts, with the exception of, I'd say Conan O'Brien. I know he brings the views. Conan O'Brien definitely does. But like all these other podcasts, they're throwing tens of millions of dollars at these celebrities and like nobody's listening to them.
Mm-hmm. They don't want the celebrities.
Safe.
They want the celebrities. They would watch their shows to begin with.
Why do you have a podcast instead of a late night show? Oh, because nobody's going to listen, whatever. And you can hide the numbers because most of the podcast numbers are hidden from the public. You just have to kind of guess.
Now, I don't watch him, so I could be wrong. But if he hasn't said this on his own show, maybe I'll give him a little more credit when he does.
Yeah, you say it on your own show that the Democrats are crazy motherfuckers. You say that in your own show. You can't say that on a Disney-owned, whatever. But you come out and you say something like that. You have this conversation with Sarah Silverman on the air, on your show. Then you mean it. You have this conversation with her on a podcast nobody's going to listen to in the comfort of her living room or whatever. It doesn't mean anything. Yeah. So
here we are, shocker. And like I said, all of this boils down to it's everything that we all knew anyway.
Yeah.
It's just Hollywood's only admitting it now because it's impacting their bottom line.
Exactly.
And you hear Business 101, Hollywood, Business 101. You don't pay people or pay for shows that you're paying so much more than they're actually bringing in or they're worth. That's not how business works. You're supposed to make money.
They'll learn. They're going to learn the hard way, but they will learn. We're going to wrap it up.
Yes.
Please subscribe. We'll talk later.
Bye.
Attention, stupid humans. Warlords are evil, just like Gary Gygax and Professor Tolkien warned you. Series 1 of these orc enamel pins are on Kickstarter again for a very limited time. Pick your clan, join the Horde, and cause some mayhem. Go to badorks.com. That's badorks.com.